Hey Theater Geeks, I'm Emily and welcome to Musical Mondays. It's Tony Week, so that means I'm going to be coming at you this week with 4 different videos about this year's nominees and who I think is going to win in each category. Today, let's get started with the tech categories and the categories that only apply to musical theater. First up, let's talk about lighting design of a play. In this category, the nominees are Polly Constable for The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Polly Constable and David Plater for Wolf Hall, Natasha Katz for Skylights, and Jaffe Weideman for Airline Highway. Here's the thing about lighting for the plays category. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime has this one in the bag. The lighting is gorgeous for this play and it works so well with the story, and just all of the images I've seen of it are so beautiful and well lit that there's really no competition in this category. Moving on to lighting design of a musical. In this category we have Donald Holder for The King and I, Natasha Katz for An American in Paris, Ben Staten for Fun Home, and Jaffe Weideman for The Visit. Now, for lighting design of a musical, it's a little bit more of a competition. Most people seem to think that Natasha Katz is going to get it for An American in Paris, and I could definitely see that happening. The lighting for that is beautiful, but I think the lighting in The Visit is also really superb. So I think Natasha Katz will get it, going along with what people tend to be saying, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it went to Jaffe Weideman for The Visit. Moving on to scenic design of a play. In this category, we have Bunny Christie and Finn Ross for The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Bob Crowley for Skylight, Christopher Ulrim for Wolf Hall, and David Rockwell for You Can't Take It With You. Now again, the set for The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime it's beautiful, it's clean, it works for what the show is, and so I really think that Bunny Christie and Finn Ross are going to take this award. However, there are a lot of people who are saying that Christopher Ulrim could take it for Wolf Hall. That definitely could happen. But I think that it's gonna go to The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. For scenic design of a musical, we have Bob Crowley and 59 Productions for An American in Paris, David Rockwell for On the 20th Century, Michael Yergin for The King and I, and David Zim for Fun Home. People seem to be thinking that it's going to go to Michael Yergin for The King and I, and yes. Next up, costumes. In terms of the plays, we have Bob Crowley for The Audience. We also have Jane Greenwood for You Can't Take It With You, Christopher Ulrim for Wolf Hall, and David Zim for Airline Highway. I do think it is going to go to Christopher Ulrim for Wolf Hall. Those costumes are so beautiful, and I don't really see it going anywhere else. Costumes for a musical, we have Greg Barnes for Something Rotten, Bob Crowley yet again for An American in Paris, William Ivy Long for On the 20th Century, and Catherine Zuber for The King and I. So here's the deal. Bob Crowley, all over these nominations, clearly a great theatrical designer. William Ivy Long designed Cinderella and made those crazy quick changes and has Tonys under his belt. However, in this category, the costumes for The King and I are exquisite. And so I really think that this award is going to go to Catherine Zuber for The King and I. So those are all the technical categories. Sound design doesn't exist anymore. Don't get me started on that. It's a whole thing. But moving on to categories that really only exist for musical theater, let's start out with a category that has a bit of an exception this year, Best Choreography. In this category, we have John Bergessi for On the Town, Christopher Gattelli for The King and I, Scott Graham and Stephen Hogart for The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Casey Nicola for Something Rotten, and Christopher Wheeldon for An American in Paris. So the weird nomination in this category is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. It's very rare that a play will get nominated for Best Choreography. But in terms of all of the contenders this year for Best Choreography, we have Christopher Gattelli, who won a Tony for Newsies and does great choreography all over the place. And we have the very dance-heavy shows of On the Town and An American in Paris. So it's really kind of an interesting category. category this year, I think it's gonna go to Christopher Wheeldon for An American in Paris, because the ballet in that piece is just so beautiful and it works so well in all the clips I've seen, and I think that could win it for it. Let's move on to Best Orchestrations. In this category, we have Christopher Austin, Don Sabetsky, and Bill Elliott for An American in Paris, John Clancy for Fun Home, Larry Hochman for Something Rotten, and Rob Mathis for The Last Ship. So something interesting going on in the orchestrations category this year. None of the people up for Best Orchestrations wrote the score for the piece that they wrote the orchestrations for. There are a few musical theater composers out there who write their own orchestrations, most notably Tom Kitt and Jason Robert Brown, but that just doesn't happen to be the case this year. I really think that the Best Orchestrations Tony is going to go to the team for An American in Paris. George Gershwin has written some of the most beautiful symphonic pieces for musical theater and modern classical music. You just cannot beat writing orchestrations with Gershwin music as your source material. Let's move on to Best Book of a Musical. Those nominees this year are Craig Lucas for An American in Paris, Lisa Cron for Fun Home, Carrie Kirkpatrick and John O'Farrell for Something Rotten, and Terrence McNally for The Visit. Here's the deal. Fun Home, the book is amazing, and it's gonna go to Lisa Cron. I really have no doubt in my mind that Fun Home is going to win this award. The source material was beautiful, the way that it's been adapted for stage is beautiful, and the writing is superb. So I think Lisa Cron has this one in the bag. The last category we're gonna talk about today is Best Score of a Musical. The nominees in this category are Janine Tesori and Lisa Cron for Fun Home, Sting for The Last Ship, Wayne and Carrie Kirkpatrick for Something Rotten, and John Kander and Fred Ebb for The Visit. This category is a little crazy this year. You have the Kirkpatrick brothers, who are newcomers. You have Kander and Ebb, who are musical theater legends and just formidable musical theater like idols. And you have Sting, who's this pop artist who came on the scene and wrote this musical with a beautiful score and a weird disjointed story. And then you have Fun Home, where the music fits the time period so perfectly, but also the emotions and just everything. And while they are in this weird, tough category this year, I think that Janine Tesori and Lisa Cron have this. Fun Home is a beautiful, poignant piece of musical theater, and the book and the score work together so seamlessly to tell Alison Bechdel's story. For that reason, I really think that it'll nab both the Best Book Tony and the Best Score Tony. But those are just my opinions. Let me know down in the comments below who you think will take the Tonys on Tony night. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe for more Musical Mondays.